In the cold waters off the Atlantic and North Sea, thousands of large European fishing vessels set sail every year, taking days, even weeks, to catch one of the most important fish species for the fisheries industry, herring. This is a long-standing tradition, closely linked to the lives of many generations of fishermen in countries such as Norway, the Netherlands, Denmark, Scotland and Iceland. Herring fishing not only requires long-term skills and experience, but also depends on the support of modern technology, large fishing vessels, professional operating teams and large-scale processing plants right after the fish are brought to shore. The morning begins in the misty fishing port. Men in thick raincoats, rubber boots and hard hats prepare to board the boat. The ships are tens of meters long, with a solid hull like a floating fortress, equipped with radar systems, satellite positioning, modern fish-finding sonar and automated cranes. Modern herring fishing vessels in Europe are usually large tugs or purse seines, with a capacity of hundreds of tons of fish, and are integrated with deep freeze compartments on board to preserve fish immediately after catching. When reaching an area where there is a forecast of a lot of herring, the captain will use sonar to scan deep into the seabed to detect schools of fish moving at a high density. Herring often swim in large schools in layers close to the bottom or in the middle of the water, creating characteristic bright spots on the sonar screen that fishermen can easily recognize. Once the exact location and size of the school of fish has been determined, the captain orders the net to be dropped. Huge nets are released from the back of the ship, quickly expanding and surrounding the entire school of fish in a tight circle. The automatic net collection system then kicks in, gradually pulling the net up, squeezing the fish in preparation for pumping them into the hold. Some ships use the technology of pumping live fish through large pipes. The fish are sucked up by the force of the sea water, minimizing damage and maintaining freshness. Once the herrings are brought into the hold, they are dumped directly into ice tanks or temperature-controlled seawater tanks. There is a preliminary sorting team on board, removing marine debris, other fish or unwanted objects. All this happens quickly to ensure that the fish are not damaged or lose quality. After many hours of continuous work at sea, the ship gradually fills up with fish. When it reaches maximum capacity, the ship returns to port, where refrigerated trucks and workers at the processing plant are waiting. Once stocked, the herrings are transported directly to the plant, starting the modern industrial processing process. Herring processing plants in Europe operate 24/7 during the season, ensuring the reception and processing of thousands of tons of fish every day. In the processing area, the fish are put into a cold water washing system, then transferred to an automatic sorting line. Here, the fish are divided by size, fatness, and freshness to determine the processing purpose. Salted herring, smoked herring, canned herring, frozen fish fillets or fish oil extraction. Some factories still maintain traditional processes such as salting herring. Workers will place the fish in large wooden or plastic barrels, sprinkle salt in layers. The fish will be left to ferment naturally for many days, then packaged in glass jars or tins for export. Meanwhile, modern processing lines use robots to automatically cut the fish, skin, debone and divide into ready-to-eat portions. Some fish are heat-treated to cook. Others are flash frozen at -40 degrees Celsius and then vacuum packed for long-term storage. Canned herring, especially in countries such as the Netherlands and Scandinavia, is a popular product and is heavily exported to many markets in Asia, Africa and the United States. During the processing process, hygiene and food safety standards are strictly monitored. Workers wear full protective gear and pass through a disinfection room before entering the production area. Machinery is periodically cleaned with special chemicals, and the quality of the fish is regularly tested with laboratory samples. Some factories also integrate blockchain technology to trace the origin of each batch, from catching to packaging, giving customers peace of mind about the origin and quality of the product. In addition, herring is also fully utilized in the production process. The fish heads, bones and intestines are sent to the byproduct processing area to produce animal feed. Fish oil or organic fertilizer. This helps to reduce waste and create higher economic value from each fish. The herring fishing and processing industry not only creates jobs for tens of thousands of workers in seaports but also contributes greatly to the national economy in European coastal countries. Every year, millions of tons of herring are legally caught according to quotas, monitored by regional fisheries organizations, ensuring that the resource is not depleted. For many fishermen, herring is not only a source of income but also a part of their culture, a part of their ancestral heritage. In some old fishing villages in the Netherlands or Norway, people still hold the first herring festival of the season, where the first fish brought back will be given to the mayor or to the village elders as a symbol of good luck. For generations, herring has been a symbol of abundance, of the generous sea and the resilient labor of European seafarers on those tens of meters long ships, every day. Hundreds of men set out, despite the waves, cold and storms, to search for the hopeful schools of silverfish. Life on board is not easy. Many fishermen have to work in cold conditions, strong winds, and high waves. They work in shifts day and night, sleep in cramped compartments, and eat simple but cozy meals together. However, they are still attached to the profession, because of their love for the sea, because of the pride in bringing tons of fresh fish to shore. Feeding countless families and contributing to the global value chain. There are people who have been attached to fishing boats all their lives. From their teens until their hair turns grey, they still choose the sea as a place to make a living. For them, the sound of the boat engine, the sound of pulling the net, the smell of fish and the feeling of fatigue after a long sea voyage are familiar, an indispensable part of life. Not stopping there, the European herring fishing and processing industry is gradually transforming towards a more sustainable and intelligent direction. Modern ships today are equipped with fuel-efficient engines, using wind and solar power to reduce emissions. Processing plants also invest in wastewater treatment technology, recycling organic waste, and using clean energy in production. Some companies also combine aquaculture to reduce pressure on nature. In the future, with the increasing demand for seafood, herring will still be an important part of the global food supply chain. The journey of herring, from the sea to the dining table, is a long and passionate journey. It is not just a story of small fish, but a story of an industry, of people, of tradition and modernity blending together. European fishermen, with their perseverance and creativity, have turned herring fishing into a living cultural symbol, a proud profession, contributing to the preservation of the seas and the nourishment of millions of people around the world. And so, day after day, month after month, the sound of ships echoes across the ocean, signaling the start of a new fishing season. The European mackerel trawling industry is a large-scale, high-tech extension of the pelagic fishery, of which mackerel is one of the most economically valuable species. Mackerel live in dense schools and move seasonally in cold waters such as the North Sea, the Norwegian Sea and the Northeast Atlantic, especially between Iceland, the Faroe Islands, Norway and Scotland, every year, during the peak season. Hundreds of large-capacity tugs go out to sea to catch giant schools of mackerel, bringing in hundreds of thousands of tons of fish, serving, processing and exporting around the world. Mackerel have the habit of living in very large schools, moving in groups, especially during the spawning season or following the sea currents. Thanks to this characteristic, industrial fleets can easily detect it with modern sonar and fish-finding radar equipment. Mackerel fishing boats in Europe are usually pair trawlers or single trawlers with pelagic trawls. Specially designed to pull huge nets in the middle of the water. These trawls can be hundreds of meters long, taller than a 10-story building, designed to open like a giant funnel, with heavy metal mesh doors to keep the mouth of the net always wide open when the boat moves at high speed. When the sonar detects a large enough school of mackerel, the two trawlers will begin to cast the net from both sides, coordinating rhythmically so that the net opens like a giant arm to cover the school of fish. Within a few dozen minutes, the school of fish will be tightly trapped in a large net bag. At this point, the crew must act quickly, using hydraulic towline systems to pull the net back, gathering the fish into the last bag of the net called the cod end. The weight of fish in each net can be up to tens, even hundreds of tons. Modern ships can pump fish directly from the net bag onto the ship through a system of pipes and giant vacuum pumps. On deck, the mackerel are put into an automatic sorting system, then transferred immediately to the deep freezer. Modern mackerel fishing boats have freezer compartments with a capacity of thousands of tons, using ammonia or CO2 cooling systems at extremely low temperatures from -20 degrees Celsius to -40 degrees Celsius. Freezing fish immediately after catching is to preserve freshness and nutritional quality, serving export to Japan, China, Africa or mainland Europe. Some ships are also equipped with packaging or preliminary filleting systems on board, to shorten the processing process after entering port. The process of catching mackerel often takes place continuously for many days. The crew work in shifts 24 hours a day, taking turns sleeping and resting. Each shift lasts 6 to 8 hours, while the ship is still moving. Searching for new schools of fish. When the ship is full of fish or at the appointed time, the captain steers it back to port. Here, refrigerated trucks or automated conveyor systems quickly transport the fish to processing plants located near the port or coastal food industry centers. In the factory, frozen mackerel is thawed in controlled cold brine to preserve the texture of the meat. The fish are then fed into automated production lines. For whole mackerels, workers or robots will gut them, remove the organs, clean them, and package them according to size. A large portion of the mackerel is filleted, marinated, smoked, or canned. In the Netherlands, Denmark, and Scotland, smoked mackerel is one of the main items in the food export industry. Some high-end products are also packaged in gold-painted tins, exclusively for the Japanese or European markets. Product quality is strictly tested in the laboratory, from antibiotic residues. Heavy metals to freshness, fat content and meat texture. Mackerel is rich in omega-3 and healthy fats, so it is always considered an important source of nutrition, especially in Nordic countries. Therefore, the processing process must ensure that the nutritional value is not lost, while meeting the food safety standards of the European Union and importing countries. It is impossible not to mention the strict regulations on quotas and fishing areas for mackerel. Each country has the right to catch a certain amount of fish according to the annual agreement issued by the International Fisheries Commission, (NIFC), and the North Sea Management Council, (ICES). Vessels must register with GPS, submit daily catch reports, and even be subject to surprise inspections at sea to avoid overfishing or encroachment into other countries' waters. Real-time satellite monitoring systems allow authorities to track each vessel in operation, ensuring transparency and sustainability of the industry. Despite the hardship, mackerel fishing brings in high incomes for fishermen and the companies that own the vessels. A successful trip with 500 to 700 tons of mackerel can bring in hundreds of thousands of euros in profit. That explains why many countries such as Norway and Iceland invest heavily in modern fleets, constantly upgrading technology to increase efficiency and reduce operating costs. At the same time, training professional crews with skills to handle incidents at sea and operate industrial machinery is a must to maintain long-term efficiency. More than just a profession, trawling for mackerel has become part of the cultural life of coastal Europe. In old fishing villages, giant mackerel boats returning to port always attract people to welcome them. As a traditional ritual, full catches of fish are a symbol of prosperity, a worthy reward for days drifting in the cold ocean. When looking at the mackerel crates stacked high at the port, the refrigerated containers being loaded onto cargo ships, we see a tightly linked chain from the ocean to the meals of millions of people around the world. Mackerel is not only a commercial product, but also the crystallization of technology, labor, resource management and the unique maritime culture of Europe. And every fishing season, the boats cut through the waves to continue the journey that begins in the ocean and ends with delicious dishes on dining tables around the world. As the giant tugs once again set sail through the morning mist and chilly waves of the North Atlantic, they carry not only the hope of a bumper catch but also the mission of protecting a centuries-old industry. Mackerel, though only a medium-sized fish, has enormous economic, nutritional and cultural value. From the skilled fishermen on board to the engineers operating in the factories, all are important links in the globalized supply chain, where each fish must meet strict standards of traceability, environmental protection and economic efficiency. One of the most remarkable features of the modern European mackerel fishery is the ability to operate in a closed loop and optimize the entire process, from the moment the ship sets sail, to casting the net, collecting the net, storing on board, transporting to shore. processing, packaging and exporting. Companies that own the vessels often also own the processing plant, the cold storage and even the inland transport truck fleet. This means that the time from when the fish is taken out of the sea to when it is put into the final packaging is only a matter of hours, ensuring that the product retains its optimum freshness and is minimally damaged. Another special feature is that mackerel is often caught seasonally, mainly from October to March, because this is when the fish reaches its best weight, high fat content and sweet, firm flesh.